Hello everybody, welcome to another YouTube video. I am Robelle Autonomy, and today I wanted to share my thoughts on the ZZZ 2.1 patch now that it's coming to an end, and 2.2 is upon us. Overall, I really enjoyed the patch, but let's go over everything in detail to see what I liked and what I didn't like, just because I want to upload more content like this. And so, let's take a look. In this patch, we got two new characters, Yuzaha and Alice. Yuzaha is a fantastic addition to the game. I do worry a bit about having such an effective S-rank support, just because I want our A-rank support characters to stay relevant, but either way, Yuzaha has established herself as the go-to Anomaly support. Her character is adorable and the animations are absolutely top-notch. I even went ahead and pulled her just because of this little moment in her EP, where she seems to have horns that coincidentally look incredibly similar to yours truly, and I find that incredibly flattering. Alice is another addition to the game, however, she almost seems to fit a similar role as Jane Doe and Piper. However, these devs hit it out of the park, not only making a unit that feels different from the others, but also somehow has insane synergy with them despite being an on-field physical anomaly DPS too. Especially with Jane Doe, who grants the ability to have Assault's crit, along with Alice's fast application leading to insane disorders and flashy finishers. And the two units have great synergy with so many team comps, all while still feeling balanced, so I definitely can say the devs cooked with this one. They even got some really nice summer costumes along with our MCs, Belle and Wise, and the summer outfits look great, and I hope the devs can keep bringing cosmetics to ZZ because, those things rule, and it's free money, so keep bringing those in. Anyway, next up is our main story chapter, the impending crash of waves, and we're not gonna spoil too much here, but we'll go over the premise along with my thoughts. Clocking in at about 4-ish hours long, our dear Phaethon finds a clue leading to Carol Arna, and we must team up with the Spook Shack crew to gather information. I really like this chapter. We didn't go super duper into depth with the diving into Phaethon's main storyline, but we do set up a ton of potential reveals for later chapters, all while having the Spook Shack members be prevalent on screen. It was a very tiny amount of dialogue both, but most of it was super duper charming and really contributed to showing off our playable character's charm. At this time, we had a really nice amount of animated cutscenes, full screen arts, and comics, and I think the devs did a fantastic job mixing in gameplay to break up the long story stretches, as well as having said cutscenes and art to break up dialogue segments. For me, I really do miss the shorter 2.5 hour long lightning-paced chapters we saw early on, like in 1.1 and 1.2. However, I feel like there really wasn't much they could cut out of this current chapter, and I feel like a lot of it was meaningful, so the longer playtime I think is forgivable. I'd say the main story chapter at this time is a big W, proving to be an improvement pacing-wise over our previous patch, 2.0. Now let's move on to the events. Alright, the events are kind of a big thing, that's how we get our rewards, so let's go over them, see how they felt to play through. Starting with the big one, Tales of Midsummer Dreams. This event was really long, really long, taking me around 4.5 hours to do just the story, separate from all the minigames. And I think the major event that we had the entire patch to play through, this one is a pretty reasonable length. I adore how the devs went all out making sure to include all previous characters while still keeping their involvement feeling natural. The way this side story integrates previous factions is brilliant, and I love seeing all of our old favorites show up again. The stories were entertaining, but I do feel like the Yuzaha Mermaid segment was a bit weaker story-wise over the rest of the stories involved. The story, as you would guess, is mostly filler, but the ending cutscene really did bring me joy. Just seeing everyone gather to celebrate summer together, even teasing future factions with Chinatsu, a member of the upcoming Angels of Delusion, making her very first appearance. As an event, it was great, and seeing the story was staying as permanent content is huge, letting players enjoy it at their own pace. The minigames are pretty simple, but I enjoy that ZZZ tends to have fast-paced shorter minigames so as to not take up too much of the player's time. And I feel like aside from the fishing part, the civic minigame and the shooting game were very fast-paced, but still an absolute blast to blitz through. I did it all in one go because I wanted the exclusive rewards, and the exclusive rewards go away, and that's where most of the rewards are. The permanent rewards are kind of meh, so that's just how it is, or they have to add a little bit of FOMO to force the players to play it as it releases, but that's just how gacha games are. I think the event was great. Fantastic. Anyway, the next major event, the Chess Legend, or Enna Chess Legend. Yeah, I'll be real. The minigame was lots of fun, but the story for this, rare Zenless Zone Zero L. I'm about to roast it, but watch the devs use the lore established in this event in something important later. They're gonna cook me somehow, I can feel it. I didn't enjoy the story for this one. Most of this was unvoiced, and every NPC spoke in 50 paragraphs. Even worse, it all felt like filler. Lots of dialogue bloat, extending the playtime of this event substantially. I resorted to button mashing through all the text and just let chat summarize. And W chat, by the way, this streamer privilege is real, but you know, that's how it is. The auto chess part was honestly insanely well thought out. Pretty simple, but it feels like it was a ton of work for something that's gonna go away after the patch ends. I really feel like if we're gonna see it again later, maybe it just becomes permanent, like they added later. I know for like the Bangbu Fall Guys, they just added that in, so hopefully we see this game mode again. It was definitely a blast, but that story bit, a bit rough. We got a new endless tower, so that's pretty nice for the endgame, and this is probably my favorite endgame that they ever released. Bring out the full potential of this game's combat, not just being a survival gauntlet, but also rewarding the players with a higher score for cramming in as many techniques and high-end skill input. This battle tower is something I found myself playing far past the point in which I was receiving rewards. I was playing it, you know, just for the fun of it. The combat of ZZ is truly the selling point of this game, well, aside from how desirable our characters are, but there were a few flaws with some pretty annoying enemies, but the game is so well designed that I could overcome those via skill, and it didn't feel like just luck. Alright, these devs cooked. It really feels like they found the perfect way to integrate AoE crowd control into the end game, which is something I feel like most of our major gachas struggle with. The groups of small enemies start with miasma shields, and purifying these shields not only does damage to them, but also refills the player's energy gauge, allowing you to spam even more skills, purifying even more shields, creating this crazy feedback loop of having unlimited button mash potential. It feels great to spare shields to refill energy later, while figuring out which enemies you want to go for next, prioritizing the higher HP enemies, or going for the small ones to refill energy as fast as you can, so that you can just blitz out the enemies that have larger HP bars. Anyway, here's hoping the devs cook for further endgame modes, but I really think this endgame is special, and luckily it's continuing on to the next patch, so you have time to play it. And with that, that is my overall summary of the update. I think this patch was a huge step in the right direction. I was worried after 2.0, especially with their story pacing, having lots of tutorials at the beginning and lots of extra dialogue bloat, but 2.1 alleviated my worries about this game's future. Now, we can't guarantee they'll stay this great, but that is just the nature of things. They did prove that they can cook though, so at least we got that. There are a bunch of quality of life changes as well, but truthfully, ZZZ implements these minor changes so often that it becomes kinda hard to pinpoint everything that got fixed because, well, the overall experience just became smoother, so you don't really notice what the main fixes were, which that's basically the point, so I'd say it's good. I don't know, and I'm sure if we rewatch the live stream, we would know what the points are, but I think in the whole idea is we don't know what they fixed, or we don't remember what they fixed because everything just runs great now, everything feels smooth. The experience with the UI and everything just kind of goes over smoothly. It feels great, long story short. That's basically all I got for you today. I love the patch and I'm super looking forward to the next patch. 2.2 looks great. Speaking of which, I will be streaming that upcoming story, so feel free to tune in for that. Alright, both on YouTube and on Twitch, twitch.tv/Robelle Autonomy. Anyways, what did you guys think of the patch? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you pull for the new characters? Did you enjoy the story? Did you have any issues that you wanted fixed? Did you enjoy the events? Let me know. I would love to hear you guys' opinions about version 2.1 of Zenless Zone Zero. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to hit that like button. It lets me know that you want more content like this when, you know, I need to know what I should be doing because I can't just do reaction content. And be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't, because I know most of you aren't subbed. YouTube gives me the data for that, so hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification as well so you know when I upload more content. Alright, and with that one, hope you all had a good one. Remember, antenna waves are nice, so I will see you all next time. Bye! To tune into my stream. I'm getting rated while recording a YouTube video!